Hey everyone, welcome to Discover the OC. I'm Jules Wilson, your host and lifestyle realtor here at Seven Gables Real Estate. Well, listen, always trying to live our best lives, right? And today I am so excited to have Dr. Ara on. Now, Dr. Ara, you came all the way down from Los Angeles, so first off, thank you. But Dr. Ara's passion actually is something we don't always want to talk about, and that's bladder wellness. Now, what I love about you when I first met you, Dr. Ara, is you have a sense of humor. I don't know if that's necessary in your line of work or what, but let's start with the hat. What's going on there?
The hat I'm representing today, so I'm representing a couple things. Number one is graduated Harvard.
Nice.
But at the same time, we are in Huntington Beach.
That's right.
So the H is almost a double entendre.
Yeah.
You know, it is representing Harvard and the good people of Huntington Beach that I'm very passionate about and I love.
Yeah, well, I love that. Well, listen, I don't think I've ever, and once again, a lot of people I have on the show, it is about living our best life. But I don't think I've ever met any expert or person who's as passionate like you are about bladder wellness. In fact, I don't even think people want to talk about that. The other thing is a lot of people, I think, when they think bladder wellness, they think old person issue. So give us some education on that because we talking earlier, I learned a couple things that I had not known about. So tell us a little bit about some of the things that aren't really true about bladder wellness, age group, that sort of thing.
Well, first of all, it affects a few people in the country. Only about 25 million people.
Oh my gosh, that's
right?
A little scary.
And you're right, it carries this stigma that people love to talk about their pain,
right.
They love to talk about their blood pressure, they love to talk about their cholesterol, but bladder wellness is that thing that really nobody talks about. And I get it, you know, so I'm here to say that, and the reason why I'm really passionate is it's okay. You know, it affects a lot of people.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily only come with age.
Okay. And
being on the board of the National Association for Continence, I realized that working with some of the OB/GYN urogynecological surgeons, they say, look, it's going to happen. And sometimes what you have to do is you got to have the right expectations in life.
Okay. Right. Well, you mentioned earlier that you've actually developed, prevention is key, I think, a lot of the times, or what we can do to take charge of our own health. You've developed some exercises or techniques we can do with respect to bladder wellness. Now, is that something you can do before you even have a bladder problem, or what? Is it like exercising to stay in shape? Tell me a little bit about that.
So Kegel exercises are very common. Kegel exercises are something where what you're doing is you're exercising the pelvic floor muscles, and there's a lot of information on the internet about that. There's something called post-voidal residual. To get a little bit granular here, what that means is there is a little bit of urine left in the urethra. So imagine this is the tube,
okay,
and you have a little bit of urine left in the urethra after you urinate. Squeeze, let go, squeeze after you urinate. That's something I created. It literally takes 5 seconds. And the goal is to reduce the risk of urinary tract infections.
So how does that work? How does holding a little bit back reduce the risk?
So what you're doing is you're squeezing, you're letting go, and then you're squeezing again. And what that's doing is getting rid of some of the urine that's left in the urethra.
Oh,
that's your goal.
Oh, kind of squeezing pushes the last bit out?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So what you're doing is when you're squeezing that last bit out, you're reducing the amount of urine left in the urethra,
okay,
which will reduce the risk of a UTI.
Okay, should we do this like all the time? I don't know. Is this a thing we should do regularly?
As you age, and that post-voidal residual actually increases.
Oh.
So when you do urinate, squeeze, let go, squeeze. Don't push,
okay,
but squeeze, let go, squeeze.
Okay.
If you can get rid of even a little bit, I'm talking 20% extra, it's going to make a difference.
Wow. Okay, and how often should we do this?
Every time you urinate.
Really? And
yeah.
Starting at what age?
Starting at the point that you end up getting some post-voidal residual. So I would say something, so if I were to guess an age, I'd say 75 and up.
Oh, okay.
That's a guess.
Okay.
Because you can have post-voidal residual at any point in your life.
Okay, all right. Okay. That's good news.
My goal is to help educate people that, number one, it's okay.
Yeah. Don't
Number
feel guilty.
two, that if you can reduce the risk of a urinary tract infection, if you can reduce the risk of a fall, right, in the middle of the night,
Right.
if you can reduce the risk of behaviors during the day because you haven't gotten a good night's sleep, that's why I'm passionate about it.
Yeah. So what does falling in the middle of the night have to do with bladder wellness?
You know, oftentimes people that are not incontinent, people that do not have bladder leakage, cannot make this association. And that's what I'm here for.
Oh, okay.
So somebody that has bladder leakage at night does not get up in the middle of the night because they need to use the restroom, what we think.
Oh, okay. What do they do?
They get up in the middle of the night because they've had a leakage episode.
Oh, I see.
And sometimes they feel wet.
Oh,
They feel uncomfortable.
okay.
They feel embarrassed. And what they're doing is they're rushing to the restroom in the middle of the night
Oh, interesting.
because they feel like they're going to leak.
Okay. So how do you prevent that then? Does the exercises help that?
The exercises kind of help. What I've designed with a team and the organization that I work for, I'm the Chief Clinical Officer of Secure Clinical Solutions, is we've designed a program that helps individuals stay dry.
Okay. And what is that?
There are products that you can purchase online at timthrive.com.
Oh, right. Okay. I did see that. Okay.
And what that does is it is technology that allows the person to sleep comfortably through the night.
Okay.
Again, it's not the first thing you're thinking about when you're going on the internet.
Yeah.
It's not the first thing you're thinking about of purchasing because 9 times out of 10, the individuals I work with, it's an afterthought.
Oh, but you know, this is really good news because I didn't think about that. A lot of people are probably falling because, like you say, they're rushing, they're embarrassed, they, you know, whatever it might be. But if you're comfortable at night, you're less inclined to rush to the bathroom when it's dark and then fall.
Exactly.
I never, Tim, that's really great. You've come up with those products. I didn't even put the two together, quite frankly.
And that's the aha moment that I'm looking for, and that's why I'm so passionate about this area of care.
Yeah.
Because I'm educating people, and they're saying, you know what, Doc, I never thought of that.
Yeah.
Because until now, I go to a big box store, I purchase the eggs, I purchase the milk, I purchase the toast,
Yeah.
and I buy a box of products, whatever they're selling.
Right.
Okay? But every night, I'm suffering. Additionally, sometimes I work with individuals that are taking a lot of antibiotics because they have consistent UTIs,
Right.
right? One of the reasons why a lot of individuals get UTIs is because it's wet.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I was actually talking
It's
to...
a perfect breeding ground, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Perfect breeding ground for bacteria. A little bit of questions that have come up. Why don't the bacteria grow in my bladder? The answer is bacteria need oxygen.
Oh.
So when the urine is inside the bladder, it's in an enclosed space with no oxygen.
Oh, I
So they
see.
can't proliferate.
Okay.
However, if there's wetness around the skin, that's when the bacteria are able to proliferate because now there's oxygen.
So it's not just for comfort. There's a big underlying reason to prevent that bacteria from flourishing. Oh, and is that where the Tim products come into play?
That's where the total incontinence management products are able to keep the person dry
Okay.
and stay dry.
Nice. That's wonderful.
The one thing that I wanted to mention in regards to the bacteria is that people often actually, what was the point that I was going to make? I forgot.
Well, listen, I learned something good right now. The fact that it grows outside the bacteria if it's in a wet, fertile environment, right?
Exactly.
I never realized, I always assumed UTIs start on the inside. Not necessarily. Did not know that. Oh, okay. Well, that's good for you. I have to ask you something else, though. Honestly, we got to have a little fun here. I mean, how did you get such passion over gerontology and bladder issues and all that? Where did that come from?
So, you know, I mean, I get that question all the time,
I
right?
can't help. I mean, I was doing all the research on you. It took me like 25 hours to research everything you've done online. I was like, wait a second, where did this, I mean, I appreciate your interest, but I'm confused. Where did this come from?
How did you become the bladder doc?
Exactly,
Right?
exactly.
How did you become this person who is pretty passionate about this area of care.
Right.
So 20 years ago, I purchased a small company.
Okay.
So I have a master's in business administration from USC. I got out, bought a small company, imported, exported products, and then had the opportunity to go back to school
Okay.
and get my doctorate. And my doctorate was in incontinence education. And during my doctorate, I wrote a dissertation. Some of them call it 150 pages of crap. You know, but
right, no pun intended.
no pun intended. But I asked over 200 individuals what their level of education on incontinence was. And they said, out of a 1 out of 10, they said a 9, 9.5. I'm like, this is fantastic.
Yeah.
And then what I did, I actually anonymously asked them a series of questions to truly validate and see.
Are they
what,
really a 9?
Exactly. And it came out to a 6.
I'm sure.
So there is a huge gap in education, and that has led to me actually getting even deeper into this area of care. And at the end of the day, if I'm not going to do it, who is?
Yeah. Well, one thing we were talking earlier, you mentioned that the bladder infections can lead to a high degree of sepsis.
Yes.
I don't think people, I've never heard of that. That's scary, Dr. Ara.
It is. It is. And I wanted to talk to you about a couple things about that because it could lead to hospitalization and a lot of challenges.
Right.
A UTI is 9 times out of 10. If the person is not cognitively declined, it's found, it's treated. Some great labs out there that also can say exactly if there's an antibiotic resistance, so you can prescribe the correct antibiotics. But if a UTI goes untreated, it can become bad actor. And why? Because that will lead to hospitalization. Of the UTIs that are hospitalized, many of them become septic. These are individuals that have a lot of comorbidities.
Okay.
Okay,
Right.
a lot of comorbidities. They have a lot of other challenges going on, maybe a little bit of antibiotic resistance as well.
Okay.
And now you're in the hospital
Oh my gosh.
and at further risk.
Yeah.
And of those UTIs that go septic, which is a bad actor, some of the septic can be very, very serious.
Yeah. Yeah, and and fatal, right?
Life-threatening.
Let's call it like it is.
Yeah, it can be life-threatening.
Oh my! Well, one thing, I'm the curious consumer sitting here next to you, right? But I love the fact that there's exercises to help out that we can start, and big aha moment for me. Bacteria starts where it's wet on the outside, not always on the inside. Did not know that either. But those 2 little bits of information right there, Dr. Ara, can really help so many people. I don't even think you realize it. Do you know what I mean? But now, addition to helping people, you're an adjunct lecturer at USC now. So
I am.
How did you end up there? What brought that up?
So
Good job, by the way. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. After being a graduate of USC and getting my master's in clinical services from Harvard Medical School, I wanted to kind of give back and was able to apply for a position at USC's gerontology school and was accepted and offered an adjunct lecturer position.
Nice.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, and it keeps you learning, doesn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry, did I take your line? Did I take your line?
You actually took my line because I was going to say I learn as much from the students as they learn from me. And I say the same thing when I'm speaking with geriatric individuals, adults, people in assisted living communities. I love talking to them. As much as I speak, I learn as much from them.
Yeah.
And it's just so poignant. It's such a beautiful moment when that connection is made in the individual's mind.
Right.
And they're like, I never thought of that.
Yeah. Well, one thing I love about you, once again, from the exercises to the products, you're really doing everything you can. You're so passionate about a field that some people can kind of get a little embarrassed over or maybe laugh at because they don't know what else to do. Let's be honest, right?
Laugh away.
Yeah, exactly. But you're it just cracks me up how passionate you are about this, and you love speaking to seniors and all that stuff. But listen, we're all getting older, right? So knowledge is power. So how do people get, and it seems to me you're always developing, you're always learning. How do people reach out to you and get a hold of you? Do you speak at retirement homes? Are you on the speakers tour? What can people do to really get some of your knowledge?
If someone wants to get a hold of me, the fastest way is either LinkedIn or Instagram. Just getting into Instagram, to be honest with you, I've been asked by many people, are you on Instagram? Are you on Instagram? And Finally, I am.
Okay, good.
So that is more of a crawl right now, but I'm very active on LinkedIn.
Yeah, we met on LinkedIn, actually.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's really good.
I'm very active on LinkedIn. I enjoy LinkedIn. And as far as speaking goes, you know, if you're passionate about something, you're really not working.
That's true. Yeah.
You're just sharing
Yeah.
and allowing people to realize that you have something that you never thought about.
That's it. Right.
And my job is to help you understand that there is a challenge. It's okay.
Yep.
And if you are looking for a solution, there are options that you've never thought of.
Right.
Because until now, 9 out of 10 times I'm speaking with someone, they've never heard of it. They haven't spoken to friends about it.
Right.
And they're just used to, as I said, either going online and purchasing something for mom, themselves, being embarrassed. Own it.
Yeah, well, you just look like a nice, comfortable dad. And
I am.
A younger
Love
dad,
my
of course.
family.
And your wife, I met her, she's lovely. So I don't picture you as the bladder expert doctor. If I had to draw it, probably have like a long beard and maybe like a plaid short sleeve shirt. I'm joking around.
I know.
But anyway, but you're approachable, so that's what I love. So what about the products that you offer? Should everyone just go to your LinkedIn and then connect with you that way and they can find all your different, from the exercises to the products? How do they get all that info? What's the best way?
I would say step one is hit me up on LinkedIn.
Hit you up on LinkedIn. Okay.
You know.
All right.
Hit me up on LinkedIn. I'm not trying to sell a product.
No.
I'm trying to increase awareness.
Yeah, you are. I love it.
And I hope that if I can just reach one person from this and change their life.
Yeah. I love that.
I've done my job.
I love that. Well, listen, once again, Dr. Ara came all the way down from Los Angeles to Huntington Beach to be on our little local OC show. So we really appreciate it. But the knowledge you've passed me today, I can pass on to other people. You know what I mean? So thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate you. And I'm going to introduce you to a couple of folks that I know that work at the local senior centers because, yeah, it's that little effect of people knowing people and your information. I'm so proud of you for being a lecturer at USC, right? Fight on, as they say.
Thank you.
And once again, reach out to Dr. Ara on LinkedIn. We'll have your LinkedIn, all the information.
Fantastic.
Anything else you want to tell us before you go on to your next venture?
I want to thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And the fact that you've given me the opportunity to actually speak about something that I'm passionate about. So thanks again.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, reach out to Dr. Ara on LinkedIn, and thank you so much for watching.